Boom! What's up, everyone? Spencer Israel, producer AB, here with you on this a beautiful Tuesday afternoon or morning, depending on where you are in the world. AB, how we doing? How we doing?
I'm great, Spencer. How are you feeling after that Regeneron you got pumping through your veins? So if you don't know, Spencer, unfortunately, tested positive for the big C, the big Rona, COVID-19 yesterday, or not yesterday, last week. And yesterday, he got the Regeneron treatment. So
we can talk all about that, AB. But let's get the show on the road here. We got a big show prepared today. We got Paul Pereira from Alfie. We got Matt Fassler. We're going to talk all about supply chain screwiness with Matt Fassler. He's the chief strategy officer of XPO Logistics, one of the biggest shipping firms in the world. Matt's going to tell us when to buy our Christmas/Hanukkah presents this year. So let's get the show on the road here and let's do it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Benzinga Nation jam-packed show today. Peloton up 5%.
What's up, disciplined investor?
We got Benzinga CEO Jason Raznick here with us.
The man, the myth, the legend, Tom Nash.
Peter Schiff on the Power Hour with us live today.
Interesting, different, unique, innovative companies.
Mia, you are live with us on the Power Hour. What's up?
Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Jessica Billingsley is the CEO of Aperna.
The best trade idea resource out there.
All right. That's the intro. That must mean the show has officially started. I think SPAC's Attack is wrapped. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, I'm here from home. You're here from wherever you are. AB, you're at the office. AB, I hope to be back in the office next week is my goal. My goal.
Yeah, and I mean, Spencer, as soon as you go in and get that negative test, we'll be happy to welcome you back into the office.
I can't do that.
What do you mean?
I can't produce a negative test for like months.
Really?
Yeah.
So when are you allowed to come back in the office? Just whenever you feel fine?
The rule, the CDC guidelines state that you're not you're not contagious after like 10 days. That's like the whole 10-day quarantine.
Wait, but I thought, for athletes and stuff, like if an NFL player comes down with COVID, they can come back once they produce a negative test. You're saying you won't be able to?
No, you can't. You can't. If you have COVID in your system, you can't. It'll stay there for like months. It'll show up on the PCR for months. So you can't. I can't produce a negative test even if I tried. Right now.
Interesting. So as you mentioned, Spencer, we are going to get into the supply chain issues, which of course have been brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. And if you've been paying attention to the news, this has been all over the news for the past couple months.
Yep.
There's been pictures of ports, whether that's in Los Angeles or other big ports, where shipping containers are just waiting to unload. As a result, the costs of shipping containers have gone through the roof. And as you mentioned, Spencer, this might get in the way of not only, holiday shopping, but also Black Friday sales. A lot of people are saying, hey, if you see something out there that's got a decent price on it now, go ahead and pick it up now because it's not getting any cheaper. But as you said, we're going to have an expert on at 12:30 to discuss that. Before that, we are going to have Paul Pereira, the CEO of Alfie, on the show again. So yeah, I'm looking at catching up on the chat. I don't know. I think there's some discrepancies on how long the COVID-19 will show up in a test.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell you before we get to Paul? Do you want me to tell you about my Regeneron treatment?
Yes, I do. So Regeneron here. Let me go ahead and pull up my Benzinga Pro Regeneron.
Oh gosh, what was that? That was a nasty sounding cough.
Yeah.
You okay there?
Yeah, we'll be fine. But so Regeneron is one of these stocks that has, of course, benefited from the COVID-19 pandemic. So we go out to the 2-year chart here. Let me pull up the chart. Looking at the daily candles. So back in 2020, at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, the stock was trading at $385. So pretty expensive for a biotech stock, but now it's all the way up to around $550, got all the way up to near $700. So real quick, Spencer, what is it that Regeneron produced, to help with COVID?
Yeah, real fast. Shelly, no, I did not get a Regeneron sponsorship. I got more than that. I got it injected into my body. That's more than a sponsorship. But basically, they came up with this monoclonal antibody treatment that they, inject into your bloodstream, and as it was explained to me, is it essentially functions similar to as like a booster shot for like a vaccine booster, right? Which I am now ineligible to get for like 3 months. I can't get a booster. So it's really only for people that you have to qualify for. It's not for everyone. You have to have a certain risk factor, a certain high risk factor, whether it's high blood pressure. In my case, it's asthma. If you're a smoker, if you're above a certain age, right? Any high risk characteristic will qualify you. I would encourage anyone who has COVID, if it's within 10 days, talk to your doctor, see if you qualify. That's exactly right. I'm 50% ETFs. No, that's not true, Tiny Pie. I am 45% ETFs, 45% Regeneron, 10% cannabis stocks. That's where I'm at right now. But I appreciate the sentiment. No, basically, it was just a treatment. You sit there for an hour and a half, and you're done. And I don't really feel any different, honestly. They said I might, but that's not the point. I don't feel any different. The point is to make me feel like it doesn't get worse. Yeah, Roy says his cousin had it, and symptoms were gone in 2 days with Regeneron. I mean, my only symptom right now is this cough that you can kind of see or hear. Like I have a hunch it's not going to go away for a while. It's just what it is. But that's all I've got. So,
well, Spencer, smash the like for Spencer being a trooper, coming on the stream from home.
Yeah.
With COVID-19,
Yep.
It'd be too easy for him to take time off from the stream and leave us without any good Spencer Israel content. But he's blessing us with his presence. So, very admirable. Smash the like for Spencer. Tokes and Trade saying check out NNVC for the COVID vaccine. They use nanorobotics.
Nanorobotics. That's okay. I might as well just get that too while I'm at it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell? Okay, it's 12:17. I see our first guest here backstage. I think if we can bring him on. Paul Pereira. He's the founder and CEO of Alfie. Paul's coming to us live today from. I'm not sure what conference he's at. I know he's at a conference. He's in somewhere in New York, some ad tech conference. Paul, are you ready? I'm going to bring you on. I think he's ready. I don't know if Paul's ready.
Let's see.
Do we think Paul can hear us?
Paul, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey! Paul, step away from the camera a little bit. There, hey, we see you. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Where are you right now?
I'm actually today at the DPA summit in New York City, and Alfie has a pretty neat booth here. And how are you guys? It's great to be on the show again today, Aaron and Spencer.
So I saw a PR from you all this morning. You guys released a study regarding what, like the ethical standards of digital advertising and basically just following people around the internet. Is that right?
Yeah, this is a lot of the media buyers, all the programmatics, Vista Media's here, Canna Screens are here, Street Metrics are here. All of the companies that in the digital out of home space are actually here today, and a lot of buyers, a lot of CEOs from big brands are also here, come looking around to see what new technology that's available and that's out here today. And we're here displaying live, real time, real reporting right behind me on my screens. I want to show you something really neat. I'm gonna have my guy here pick this camera up and show you something as I walk over here.
Okay.
This up on the top here is Alfie. That's counting. That's Alfie counting everybody that's in the room and tracking them in terms of age and gender. So far this morning, there's been 4,655 people that have come by our screens today. And that's as real-time reporting as you could possibly want to get in the digital out of home. And that's why one of the reasons I always say that, our platform is such a disruptive, transformative platform that's unlike anything else that's out there today. We're the only company inside of this room here today right now with thousands of people that are displaying real-time, real reporting with metrics for the digital out-of-home platforms.
I'm trying to understand here. So it scans your face, but like, what? I mean, tell me about like the privacy concerns of that.
So what it does is it actually this is computing on the edge. So it actually you use all the algorithms on the edge. It scans vector points on your face. It doesn't scan your face image, it scans certain vector points. And from those vector points, it's able to detect that age and gender with a high degree of accuracy. So we violate no privacy. We are fully...
Okay, so for a public, so basically for a public, like Times Square, for example, right?
Yeah.
Like Times Square, a place with a lot of like foot traffic, you would get better reporting, right? Is basically what better demographic information.
Yeah, so if you had a place like a public billboard or something where the camera's looking and there was 1,000 people in front of it, it'll scan all 1,000 people, figure out what's the percentage of male to female, what's the average age, and based on the brands or the portfolio, the content will deliver the most relevant content to the right person at that right moment in time. So it's if all of a sudden there was 1,000 women in front of Times Square and Alfie was sitting on a screen, it'll show ads catered towards females. If there was 75 women and 25 men, it'll calculate that there's more men concentration, there are more women concentration than males, and it will show female-oriented ads because it's 75 women. And so that, what I showed you back there on the screen over here, that's Alfie running real time, scanning the crowd here, looking at people walking by, and serving ads based on what the more bias is, if it's more biased towards females or males.
So, and as the advertiser, I can say I want to target men age 50 and older, or whatever, right?
Yeah, so for the advertiser, just think about it. Up until now, advertising has been shooting in the dark. You run an ad, you hope that somebody sees it, but just by using the one simple metric of male-female, we're 50% ahead of what the digital out-of-home market is.
Sure. So we're talking. You mentioned digital out-of-home. So like what is the market here? It's any public billboard, right? Is that it?
Well, it's really interesting because Alfie is a hybrid. And so we're not only targeting the digital out-of-home, we're also targeting digital online. And funny enough, we're now in the throes of talking about connected to that the Google V360 digital online servers that provide, that are part of that $600 billion digital online market. And the reason we can do that is because we're real time and it's real data reporting. So the same way that Google or Facebook might use a cookie to go on digital online and give their reporting, we don't use the cookie. We use our technology to give that real-time reporting without violating your privacy. So Alfie has the opportunity to target both the $60 billion digital out-of-home and the $600 billion digital online market, which, in fact, we're actually starting to do trials with a company right now. I can't name the company. I always get whacked for doing this. In Denver International Airport.
All right. Well, we'll have to get you back on the show when as that progresses to find out how it went. But Paul Pereira is the founder and CEO of Alfie. The ticker is on the screen there. ALF. Paul, yep. Good luck at the conference today.
Hey, it's been a great conference. We've been so swamped. And I'm now looking across the way from me at Vista Media, which, by the way, we're now connected to that programmatic exchange, Vista Media, and they're pumping ads on our screens all behind us. Vista Media is now running on programmatic revenue generating on Alfie screens.
All right. Thanks a lot, Paul.
Thank you, guys.
All right. That was very last minute. We literally found Paul Paul reached out, said I'm at this conference, and we literally confirmed with Paul like 2 minutes before we hopped on the show today. So that was it's not often we get people from places outside, when they're actually out in the world doing things. So that was pretty cool to get Paul on. I want to do a crypto update, AB, and the reason I want to do a crypto update before we bring on our next guest, you know what? I may have to refresh. Can I refresh that? Let's refresh my screen for a second.
Yes, sir. And some of this data on the heat map is slightly delayed. So, if you see something that is a little off for the last, it's not real time.
Oh, it's not? Really? After all, wait. I thought it was real time. That's why I just refreshed.
I do not believe so.
Really? Okay, yeah. That's a question for our developers. In any case, according to the heat map, it's a red day for pretty much everything. But I don't care about that. Actually, what I do care about is the only crypto that matters, which is Shiba Inu. Let's bring up some SHIB right now. I don't think we have SHIB in Pro, do we?
I do not believe so.
All right, let's get it. Let's get some Shiba Inu on my screen.
Oh wait, we do. Oh no, well, it pops up, but the chart doesn't populate. So, oh well, looks like we lost Spencer.
Oh, I'm back.
He's back.
I'm from home. I'm remote. It's funny, you go back to the office, you get used to how things are, and now you have to go remote again, and everything is crazy. But no, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. What I meant to do was pull up my SHIB chart. That's the only crypto that matters now, apparently. Right?
Yeah. So let's look at SHIB's price action over the last 24 hours. Looks like it's down as well with the rest of the market, down about 10%. So, Spencer, this is one that has just taken over the crypto world by storm, kind of following in Dogecoin's footsteps. And it's really interesting to me, Spencer, see some of these smaller altcoins reach just a ridiculous market cap in terms of, how many people are going out here and buying this. I saw a stat yesterday that Bitcoin's market cap is now bigger than the 3 largest U.S. banks combined. So that's, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and who's the other?
JP Morgan, Wells, and Bank of America.
If
you're going by market cap, I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't think it was Bank of America. It was JP, Wells, and something else.
We'll look it up right now. Here's what we'll do. I'll give me 10 seconds. It's JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. I was right.
It was Bank of America? Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just incredible to see some of these coins just reach that magnitude in terms of market cap. Bitcoin's market cap is now over $1 trillion. It has been. It toggles with the price, but with its current price is back over $1 trillion. So, Spencer, I don't know what you've got on your crypto radar besides Shiba.
I was debating putting all my money in SHIB, honestly. I don't know. I thought that's what we were supposed to be doing now. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. I mean, look at the chart. It speaks for itself. I want to ask our next guest if he has any crypto out of curiosity, because, that's what we should start doing. We should start asking everybody that we talk to, hey, do you have any crypto? Because I feel like we're at the point now where most people probably do.
I mean, even for the most, maybe not like conservative investors, but the most traditional, like if your portfolio is, say 50% stocks and 50% bonds, like I think it does make sense to allocate, maybe 1% or so into Bitcoin or into Ethereum, because it's like, why not just get some exposure? But, I'd imagine that a lot of more traditional investors have not, dipped their toes into any.
Hey, you know where you can buy Shiba Inu? On the Voyager app. True story. You can do that. Whoa. And while you're at it, as I was saying, get $50 in Bitcoin for free. We have to get it with Voyager. I don't think the people want free Bitcoin. I think they want free SHIB. But for now, you can get $50 in free Bitcoin. All you have to do is go to the Voyager app, open an account, fund it with $100, make your first trade. Use the offer code ZING when you sign up, ZING. That'll get you your $50 in Bitcoin for free. And we'll have to get with them about getting some free sheep. I think that's what the people want. Maybe they can offer, like I don't know, a free 1 penny for free. That's a lot of sheep. 1 penny. That's like 1,000 sheeps. I don't know.
Yeah, Shelly's raising a good point in the chat, Spencer. I don't know if the COVID is messing with your, risk management, but you seem to have taken a different tone. So,
dude, you know what though? That's a serious point you brought up. My brain, like on COVID, has been like a little bit weird. Like I wouldn't quite call it like just a confusion, but I was talking with the other guy. There was one other guy yesterday getting the Regeneron thing with me, and he was he's in his early 60s. We were talking, and he was saying how he's been like confused the past week, and I've had some moments where like I said something, and like what I thought I said is not at all what I actually said. And
yeah,
my brain and my mouth like we're not working in unison. I've had that happen like a couple of times the past week. It's been very strange.
We've seen a number of reports about kind of the psychological effects of COVID, and I think over time we'll see more and more. Ultimately, what that all entails, but definitely maybe one of the more overlooked effects of COVID is how it affects people's thinking and brains
for
in
sure.
general.
Like last week, Aaron, like I thought you and I were having a conversation about bringing me my laptop and stuff from the office, and like what I thought you had said and what you actually said were not the same thing, because I thought you were going to bring it to me on, like you suggested Thursday. Apparently, I suggested Friday, but I didn't know I did that. You know what I mean? Like after that conversation happened, I was like, wait, what did I say?
So essentially, Spencer had some gear at the office that I offered to drop off at his house.
Yeah,
and it was after on Thursday, and he was like, "Oh, it'd be better if you bring it tomorrow." And I was
that's
like,
not what I meant to say. That is not at all what I meant to say.
And in my head, I'm like, "What's the difference if I drop it off at your front door, this afternoon or tomorrow? Like, all you have to do is walk out and grab it." But I'm like, "All right, he's on COVID, whatever makes sense for him." And then,
dude, COVID brain is a thing. COVID brain's a thing for real. No, it did not affect. Well, Hex 214 point in the chat and before we bring Matt on, it only affected my smell in that I was congested for about 4 days, right? So I couldn't smell because I was all stuffed up. But aside from that, no, I can taste, I can smell now. So it didn't affect that, but I don't know. It's so weird. It affects everyone differently. So strange. Okay, let's move on from this. Our next guest, as I said off the top of the show, our next guest is going to tell us definitively when to start buying Christmas presents or Hanukkah presents or Kwanzaa presents for your loved ones this year. Matt Fassler is his name. He's the Chief Strategy Officer at XPO Logistics. AB, let's get Matt on here.
Let's do it.
Hey.
Matt, how's it going?
Good afternoon, guys. How are you? Happy to be here.
Happy to have you on. Let's start with first thing. Do you own any crypto?
I have to admit, I've got a little taste.
I knew it. Everyone secretly does. Now, Matt, on to more important things. Should I have already bought holiday presents from my friends and family this year?
In my household, for better or for worse, presents are a year-round sport. But putting that aside, I think that people should feel comfortable that the supply chain will hold up well, as it has to date. And certainly we're doing everything in our power to help our customers, the shippers who are providing those presents and many other goods to both consumers and businesses across the country, get what they need when they need it.
So, Matt, I want to talk about, there's a bunch of things on my list here, but in terms of just driver shortages, we saw a couple weeks ago there was a major shortage of drivers over in the UK. They had oil, but they had no way to get the oil to all the stations around the country. Can you just talk about the driver shortage and sort of where XPO is at right now in that regard?
Of course. If you look at any service business, let's stick with the U.S. for the moment, though obviously we saw the issues in the U.K., which appear to have been abating. But if you look at the U.S., most service businesses are experiencing labor shortages. We had a very strong economy. We had obviously some very significant government incentives, government subsidies for people who were not able to work. Even though the Delta variant is thankfully beginning to recede, that also, I think, kept people out of the workforce or absent from work for a little while longer than was expected. So certainly the transportation industry did see shortages of drivers within that context. And we have worked through driver shortages. Now, we have some solutions that we've developed on our own. The best one for us is our driver schools. We operate one of the largest less than truckload transportation businesses in the US. This year, the schools that we operate are going to graduate roughly 1,000 drivers. In any average year, it would be about 700. Last year, due to COVID, the number was much lower. So this is a self-help solution for us, and we're getting, I think, past the peak of that shortage challenge.
Where is the U.S.? First, actually, something you just said. You said less than trucking freight. You're referring to just small freight, right? There, that's basically what.
Well, it's actually it's think about a service where we put together freight from multiple customers to ship it by the pallet on the same truck.
Okay.
We'll pick it up at your warehouse or wherever. Bring it to one of our sortation centers, one of our service centers. Mix it with other freight, ship it to a different city, and then ultimately deliver it to its end destination. That's different from full truckload where you'd have the whole truck with only your stuff.
Yeah, there's that COVID brain of mine. So where is the U.S. right now as it relates to other countries, UK or you can even go more broad, like Europe, even Canada. I mean, like how I don't want to say messed up is not the right word, but like how good or not good are we compared to other countries?
The recovery in the U.S., the macro recovery, if I look across the countries where we operate, and we are primarily in the U.S. and in Europe, and within Europe, primarily Western Europe, the recovery in the U.S. has definitely been stronger than the recovery in Europe. And I think some of the local constraints around labor, for example, and around equipment have also probably, as a result of that strength, been more noted in the U.S., though the point that you made on the UK truck drivers obviously is something that we saw. So the U.S. has been stronger, and I think with that strength, you've seen some of the supply-related constraints. There's some other issues related to supply chain that impact us a little less directly, that are a bit more global, related to container ships, et cetera. But in the freight transportation business, what we see the U.S. is strongest and has some of those capacity challenges.
And so I was going to ask you about that next, is the supply chain just screwiness right now. I mean, how much of that is affecting you right now? Because just whether it's container ships or otherwise.
We're really part of the solution. So in a moment in time when supply chains are challenged, people really want capacity, people really want visibility, and they look for partners who have the technology, who help them achieve those solutions. So we have this awesome, large, less than truckload business, right, for capacity. We operate one of the largest truck brokers in the world. So if you don't run your own fleet and you need to move your goods from point A to point B, we help you find the truck at the best possible price that will not only secure that capacity for you, get that truck for you, but help you track it as it goes upon its journey. And these days, no one's really taking that for granted. So that visibility means a lot. And it's only with our tech that we can really get this done. We can manage the routes more efficiently. We can price to the market more effectively. We can track and trace the freight more effectively. And during COVID, prior to COVID, I guess I'd say, these were all taken for granted by our customers and consequently by their customers. Now it's not. So our skills are that much more valued than they had been.
How is the rising fuel costs, how is that impacting your business?
We are able to manage that really well. That is more or less a pass-through for us. So we don't take the hit when fuel prices go up. Obviously, it raises the cost of doing business for everyone, but that's not a problem for XPO.
And then just like, how would you rate the U.S. right now, as we start to kind of get into like the holiday shopping season here, whether it's now or a few weeks from now, and you see the corresponding increase in small freight go up with that, right? So, like, how stable and prepared would you rate the U.S. Transportation small freight infrastructure right now for the holiday season?
I think it's in pretty good shape. I can speak mostly to us, and we are very much ready. We are gunning for a really strong peak. I think because people share some of the same concerns consumers do that you articulated a moment ago. Will I be able to get my gifts? People are starting earlier, and peak is also a bit more extended. So that peak moment is really stronger for longer. We saw this in 2020. I think a lot of that was directed towards e-com, the fact that people didn't want to be out in the stores or couldn't be out in the stores, so they bought online, so they started that earlier, and that lasted longer. In our case, and I think this year, people can go to the stores. They are going to the stores, but they're absolutely spending. The consumer is holding up exceptionally well in this backdrop.
And this is only half the equation. The other half is, of course, making, with regards to any physical thing, making sure that it's actually being made. But that's not, of course, not your problem. Matt, do you have any insight into what's going on over at the Port of LA? And I'm sure you're talking to people in the industry about that, right? I mean, do you have any insights there as far as like when that bottleneck is uncorked?
There's obviously enormous focus on it. That impacts us a little less directly. We have a global forwarding business, but it's a small business. Most of what we move, either in the U.S. or around Europe, stays in country or in Europe on continent. So it doesn't impact us all that much. What I do know is that the LA issue, if you look at the backlog of ships, that appears to have crested and is coming off a bit. And that's very good news. We were talking about people looking for gifts and getting inflow of freight from Asia to the U.S. It's reassuring that we're starting to see that logjam loosen up.
Matt, when do you think this supply chain chaos will get back to more or less where it was pre-pandemic, return to normalcy? Is this just a 2022 problem? Is this a longer term problem? I mean, does anyone even know the answer to that question?
So a couple points. I think it's only chaos to the observer if it overtakes you. So I agree that it's super tight. For us, it's not chaotic. It's just tight. And we help people see through what they interpret as chaos. Like that is really our value. When will the tightness moderate? Not this year. That's almost for sure. I was with the head of our North American transportation business, who's got really a great global view across modes, from trucking to rail to air and ocean. His expectation is that things don't loosen up prior to the Chinese New Year, so early next calendar year at the earliest. They'll stay tight, we think, at least into part of 2022, and then we'll see.
All right. Well, hopefully sooner rather than later. But hey, Matt Fassler is saying that he thinks we're going to be okay for the holiday shopping season. We know that's all that matters, is can we get our present in time. Matt Fassler, Chief Strategy Officer, XPO Logistics. Thank you so much for coming on the Power Hour today. All right. I want to talk about I want to talk about Facebook for just a second here. As we bring AB back. AB, can you pull up a chart of Facebook for me, please?
Yes, sir. I can do that for you, Spencer. So,
because we were talking about this on pre-market prep this morning, and Facebook was trading down, and I mentioned to the news desk that there were reports of outages and on the platform, and the response I got was, "Yeah, every day with Facebook." Like I'm not on Facebook. I mean, I am, but I'm not on it on a daily. I'm on it on I go on once a year, right? So I'm not on a daily basis, nor am I on Instagram for that matter. So I didn't realize that Facebook was having continued outages. Regardless, if you can look at that chart there, what is that?
This is a 2-day.
It's a 2-day chart.
2-day chart. I can go out to the dailies here, so you can see that
Yeah.
since this top right here was, of course, when that 60 minutes and then the whistleblower kind of testified at Congress. You know, if you've been living under a rock, essentially this whistleblower who used to work at Facebook came out and said, hey, look, the company is prioritizing profits over people's well-beings. You know, Facebook is well aware of all these adverse effects of the nature of Facebook social media and Instagram.
So what was that all-time high, real fast?
$380.
Okay.
$384.
So we're down, and that was a month ago. So okay, so we're down 15% in a month, right? We're down from 380 to we're down $60, 15% in 1 month. I've been bearish Facebook for basically the last year, and I'm strongly considering buying some like long-term puts against Facebook here. I've been thinking about this for a while now.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing, Spencer, is Facebook is such a massive company. I mean, the company has rebranded from just Facebook to the Facebook parent company or something that has all these different names under it, including WhatsApp, Instagram, as you mentioned,
Right.
Oculus. And back here from last fall of 2020 through, February, the stock was pretty much trading in this range and trading sideways. And this was typical among all the big FANG stocks. You look at Apple's chart, you look at Amazon's chart, Nvidia's chart. They all just kind of did nothing for like 6 months or so. And at that time, I called out Facebook as a play that I really liked before this big run up. And it wasn't because of Facebook, WhatsApp, or Instagram. It was because of Oculus. So something I always like to do, Spencer, when I'm looking at investments is seeing kind of how a company is spending their money. If a company is spending a large allocation of their money to marketing, advertising, and that sort of stuff, that's not a great sign to me, because that shows that they want to allocate resources to making their company appear, favorable, whatever it is. Facebook was spending a lot of money in R&D into Oculus. They were actually relocating employees from the Facebook vertical, from WhatsApp, from Instagram to Oculus. And the idea is, my thesis, Spencer, is that as that industry grows, as AR and VR grows, Oculus and Facebook have a head start. They will be the leaders in getting the first, if you know anyone that has like a VR gaming system at home, chances are it's an Oculus. And I think they're going to beat Sony, beat Microsoft in getting that. And if you look at the valuation of Oculus, it's still undervalued. So the question is that potential upside going to be bogged down, weighed down by all this other crap surrounding Facebook? I think so in the short term, 100%. But I think long term, the bull case for Facebook is through the Oculus.
That's interesting, because I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about Oculus at all. I've mostly thought about Instagram and WhatsApp and trying to determine the odds of, the DOJ coming in and being like, nope, you guys got to spin this off. Because I kind of think it's going to happen. But even if that does happen, there's two questions there. There's they're obviously good. Like any hypothetical spinoff, they would get paid. Facebook would get paid, right? So there's that. There's an influx of cash, and then I haven't even thought about it from an Oculus standpoint. I guess I don't really know anything about the growth prospects there. But you're bullish because you like Oculus.
Yeah, and I mean, Spencer, I'd be more bullish if the company broke up and I could just invest in Oculus directly. But if I have to invest in it through Facebook, then
that's almost what that's almost what they should do.
I agree. So I think so I just pulled this article from The Verge. This is old. This is from March, but almost a fifth of all Facebook employees are now working on VR and AR. Facebook has nearly 10,000 employees in its division working on augmented reality. This suggests that Facebook has been significantly accelerating VR and AR efforts. And the only reason a company this big knows what they're doing internally, right? The only reason they're willing to do this is if they're saying, hey, this is where we need to, move some resources, shift some things around. We need to put some extra attention in here. And there were a lot of value investors back, if I pull the chart back up, back in that time when all those companies were trading sideways, saying, hey, look, this stock is actually undervalued when you're looking at, the financials of the Oculus part of the business. So that was always my bull case on Facebook. And so I agree with you that in the short term, we could see this continue to get bogged down, trade lower. But if I were you, I would stay away from the long dated puts on Facebook, just in that case that, Oculus does kind of carry the company to new highs.
Can you just tell me those series of lows in March? Can you just tell me what is that, like 245, 250?
What was that in March?
The series of lows there, like just to the right.
It tested this. Oh, right here.
Yeah. What's all that? That's like 250,
255. Right here, it hit. Let me give it a little zoom in. Oh shoot, that didn't work.
So the 50% between those lows and the all-time high is 317. Okay. Wait. Okay, you just zoomed in.
Wait, what was that? What did you just say, Spencer?
I just wanted to get the 50% retracement level between those lows in mid-March and the all-time high from a month or two ago. So
if you look right here, this level right here is 245, and we saw it bounce off this support like essentially perfectly 2 times, once in September, once in January. So
all right, that's fair. But so then scroll to the right. So 317 is basically your midpoint from the low. It's actually, if you're going to go off 245, it'll be 312. So 312 is like your midpoint between that support that AB just pointed out on the all-time high. I suppose I'm bullish until 312, but just forget the fundies, Aaron. I mean, let's say we fall $10 more. Now you're talking what, a 20% decline in the stock in 5-6 weeks. I mean, or however long that takes. I mean, the chart looks pretty ugly. Can you at least acknowledge that?
100%. I think, like I said, I think in the short term, puts might not be the worst idea, especially, Spencer, if we get down to this level right here where we've seen it bounce off of a couple times, right around $300. Even like right here will be an important level, I think, right at this like 317 level. So if we see it break below here and get down to this 300 level, then that's really going to be interesting, because if we break that 300 level, it's coming all the way back down here to 255.
All right. I'm part of this is like an emotional thing for me, because I'm letting the cloud my judgment, because I really do hate this company. And I know that that's probably bad for me to want to put on a trade, because I hate the company and I hate the product, but that's sort of where I'm at right now.
Well, look, to your point, Spencer. I mean, so Facebook right now is trading down about 1.5% on the day. Let's check in on some other social media companies. Snapchat up about 2.5%. Twitter up about 0.6%. Pinterest is up. So Facebook is showing a lot of relative weakness here. Essentially, all other social media companies.
but compared to the other FANG stocks, is it really that big a deal?
Netflix is down about 0.5%. Apple is down.
The FANG stocks are all red today, so I don't know if Facebook trades more with them than it does with.
Facebook's down more than them though, so I would still argue there is a little bit of relative.
Yeah,
weakness.
Okay. There's relative weakness. That's my point. There's relative weakness, right? Like, don't like the stock.
My only point, Spencer, was that I think long term you could see Facebook essentially, even if Facebook's platform and Instagram and WhatsApp kind of fall out of favor, I think you could see Oculus kind of be the leader in that company. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you wanted to buy puts that are 3, 4, 5, 6 months out, by all means. If you were looking at, a year, 2 years, I think it'd be very hard to tell what the AR, VR industry is going to look like.
I need to gauge the sentiment in the chat here. 1, if we're bullish. 2, if we're bearish on Facebook. Let's go for the next. Let's go like the next 6 months, or like end of Q1, right? So like from now until the end of March. Where are we on Facebook? 1 for bullish, 2 for bearish. Is that what I said? That's what I said.
Wait, from now until March, so you're giving a 5-month time frame?
Yeah. I'm just curious where the people are at.
I'll go bearish in the next 5 months for sure.
Sell some call spreads. That's not a bad idea, actually.
I'll tell you what, though, Spencer. If we
do, I might as well get paid or something, right?
Yeah,
that's not a bad idea.
If we do hit this 255 level, I think it becomes attractive there. I don't think
255, dude. If Facebook's at 255, this is a different conversation entirely. Right, from 380 to 250.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Looking at the technicals, like if we drop all the way down here, I'll definitely buy some here.
Oh boy. Okay.
I'm not going to touch it before then.
All right. Hey, real fast before we go here, I wanted to also hit on some EV stocks. I don't know if you saw these recently, Aaron, but some of these EV stocks, like pull up Arrival, ARVL. You look at Arrival for a second. I know I should like, okay, like all these moves are probably correct to be faded, right? But look at that Arrival chart. Like you probably don't want to buy it here, but I'm also like, I would skew bearish, but I'd also be afraid to like throw out a bearish position because these things can move on you. I would just be afraid. I know if it's paid to fade everything, buy dips, sell rips, but it's hard to go against the trend. It really is. The Arrival chart. That's how many up weeks in a row has it had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up weeks in a row for Arrival.
Yeah, I mean, so looking at this, Spencer, and I don't know too much about this company, so I don't feel like I have an edge here. But looking at the chart, we're at around 15.5 right now, and if you back up to in July, we see it's at this previous spot where we had some resistance. So I think right here we'll be able to easily tell, are we going to top here at this previous resistance and start coming back down like you're talking about and kind of fading that move back down to the $10 level? But if we break through here, then I think we got room to come back up to this $18, $19 level. So I think we'll know in the next couple of days, in the next day, tomorrow, are we going to break through this level or is it going to act as resistance and come back down? Did I lose you, Spencer?
All right, I was on mute. I'm looking at the EV names because like Nikola's up almost 6% today randomly. Come on, that's such a short.
I like
that's
this.
Such a short.
Look at this chart, Spencer. So this is QuantumScape. So
yeah.
QuantumScape, of course, was in huge favor among retail investors, got all the way up to around $130 last December, traded off massively, went from $120 down to $20. So the stock has just gotten hammered. But, on Get Technical, we love looking at stocks like this that have a nice rounded bottom, some sustained consolidation, kind of trading in a range for a while. And most of the time.
Okay. So you've got like a line in the sand, right? It's like $20.
Yeah, but not every time. But most of the time when you see a big rounding bottom like this, you're going to come back up here. It's
rounding. I don't see a rounding bottom there. I see a flat line. Like it has to start going. Can you maybe pull up a weekly? Yeah. I don't know. It has to start going up. It hasn't really gone up. It tried to a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we had to get up to like around $27. I think it's showing some signs. I think it's showing some signs.
All of these moves are moves to fade, I think. QuantumScape, Nikola, Arrival. You think you fade them all.
Well, here's what I was going to say about QuantumScape is like one of those companies that has zero revenue. They've got some exciting technology, but it's so proprietary, it's so early stages that I think it's worth like getting a few shares. And if they, get their shit figured out and everything pans out the way QuantumScape wants it to, you're looking at an easy, 10 bagger. Is there a chance that they never get to that point and the stock continues to go down? 100%. But I'm willing to take on a little bit of that risk for the chance that QuantumScape does, put the best battery out there, whatever it is, and the stock just takes off. So this is one that I have on my radar. I think you only touch it if you have, a risk appetite, like you want to take some risk on. Otherwise, just stay away from it.
If I were to buy that, I would set a stop at like $20, and then if I could fill it, I could fill it, and if not, then I don't.
Okay.
Hey,
Aaron got the swag. Thank you, Ron, for tuning in. My fellow dude, honestly, this Aaron and my name, they're so similar. Like my name is his name. You just add an extra AN on the end of it.
Aaron Bryan and Aaron Bry. Yeah. Funny how that works out. Names are weird, man. What can I say?
Yeah.
Hey, okay, so here's the deal. No Neil today. No Get Tech. He's under the weather. I think the next time we're going to be hearing from Neil will be, oh, wait. We might not have a Neil show. Hopefully tomorrow. Because there's no Get Technical Thursday or Friday, obviously, because we've got our Cannabis Capital Conference. So maybe tomorrow, I hope. If he's feeling better, we'll have to TBD. TBD on Neil. But I think we do have a why is he under the weather, Shelly? I don't know. I didn't ask him. AB, did you ask him?
I'd imagine maybe he hasn't drinking enough water and his immune system is just a little bit
dude, that's the other thing. Is I keep like the doctor and everyone this whole week that I've been had COVID, they keep saying drink more water, as if that's like the magical cure for COVID.
It helps.
Oh yeah, drink more water. It helps.
It helps with no matter what you're doing. I hate everyone anytime you try to make it a point I'm gonna bring my water bottle to work and keep drinking water all day. It's I just end up going to the bathroom 20 times and it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Okay, where is Neil? Neil's home. Neil's under the weather. That's where he is. Everyone's saying I'm wrong and water helps. All right, I guess I don't drink a lot of liquids during the day. I guess that's my problem, right there, is I just don't drink enough. But
yeah, Spence, maybe you should get some of these Zip Fizzes too. They got a lot of vitamins and good things in them.
Dude, I took a Zip Fizz last Monday when I was at the office with COVID, and I didn't know it, and it didn't help. So, yeah, you heard it here first. Zip Fizz does not help with COVID. But anyway, okay. Hey, so we have a replay set up, I believe, Moon or Bust from yesterday. We're going to replay that right now. And then the Roadmap guys will be on at 3 o'clock talking NFTs. And I'll be back with y'all at, wait, what did I say, 3 o'clock? 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, the Roadmap. And then see, that's my COVID brain. I say things that are just wrong.
Patrick Starr, how's AMC? The trade has not worked out the way that we have wanted it to, but that's the benefit of doing a trade like that, where you just buy a couple call contracts. You know exactly what your risk is. So I think Luke and I spent about $500 on these call contracts yesterday, expecting AMC to move more in tune with GameStop, which it hasn't, obviously. So the trade is not working out. But instead of getting burned by, a bunch of money, we know exactly how much risk we put in. So it is what it is. Not every trade's going to work out. Spencer, you're on mute.
Sorry. I have a mute button, and I hit it, and then I just forgot that I hit it. So speaking of NFTs real fast, I just saw this headline breaking from the FT that Coinbase is going to launch an NFT marketplace. So Ticker Coin just popped. I'm sure they will talk about that in an hour from now on the Roadmap. Coinbase NFTs, match made in crypto heaven.
Beautiful. All right, y'all. Well, smash the like and subscribe if you have not already. This stream will automatically redirect you to our Moon or Bust replay. And please email us at shows@benzinga.com if you have any feedback, questions, or comments. We are gearing up for some big changes on the midday show. So we are going to be
whole new set we've got, right?
Right. And Spencer, we're going to be asking for a lot of feedback from the crowd, because this content is for you. We're doing it, bringing it to you for free. So we want to make sure it's bringing as much value as we can. So email us with any questions, comments, concerns. Maybe you just want to say hi. We'd love to hear that feedback. And with that, let's go ahead and get over to Moon or Bust.
Or Moon.